Welcome back to another episode of the Canon on the Boom and Bust channel. I'm your host Terry, and today doing a wrap up for Andor, the series or season one, the series finale. Well, I shouldn't say the series, the season finale just happened, and we know we're getting a season two, so it will continue on. But man, what can I say? Like, I've had a couple times where I had to get on and talk about Andor because it's just that good. And I mean, we get the same stuff. I don't even know what to tell you, man. I went to bed super late. I just was up and I was buzzing and I couldn't stop thinking about it. And part of my dreams was kind of about it. Like, I could not stop. The amount of emotion that it pulled and evoked out of me is crazy. And I said last night, this is the best TV I've ever seen. Now, I need to think about that and, really contemplate. But, man, as far as feeling something, I think I can safely say this is the best TV I've ever seen. And then, obviously, you got things like The Wire that are multiple seasons, and I haven't seen Game of Thrones or Sopranos, so there's other stuff. I'm not saying the stuff's not good, but as far as for what I consider, I just had to say this was the best. Like, the writing is, I said it before, it's elite. I don't know what else to say above elite. They stuck the landing, first of all. You have Disney Plus, whether it's Marvel or anything else, they have a terrible track record with the finales. It's just, for whatever reason, they do not stick the landing. And it's not even like, man, that wasn't as good as it was supposed to be. Usually the finales are some of the worst episodes of the shows for me. And so for this to be just as strong, maybe the strongest episode, that was already an accomplishment. But then you add on to it just how well executed it was and what it means. I mean, literally, to understand what that episode meant, and to encapsulate basically the whole thesis of this show, which is it's about the Empire, yes, but it's the spark of the rebellion. It's what gets the rebellion going. And this last episode on Ferrix, like these people having like the last straw, that is just kind of the microcosm of the whole entire galaxy and the people across the galaxy who are now starting to become fed up with what's happening. And so the writing and the dialogue we know is amazing, but what they did so well is how they set up everybody and every storyline within the scene or the climax of the sequence in this finale, where you have this speech being made by Marva, but you see everybody taking it a different way. Even now I'm not so sure. So the black dude, the one with the British black dude with the hair, it's not curly, it's twisted, I guess you call it curly, but anyway, that dude, they show him lying down on the floor or whatever, but I swear later on, like once it's all kind of over, you see somebody that looks like him walking down the street, like kind of dusting himself off. So I don't know if that was him or if he died, but either way, you got a guy who was a snitch and possibly died, but they still took time to even show how the speech affected him, let alone, the young kid whose dad was hung. And then you got Andor's friend, which I didn't even catch his name. And then, of course, you got Luthen, and just how it's hitting everybody differently in terms of what they're going through in their own personal battles with the Empire. And so you get the great voiceover, the great dialogue, but then you see the shots and the music swelling, and it's just so well crafted. And someone had mentioned, which I didn't realize, that the intro, the logo, they've been building up, and it's the same song from the funeral, and they just been adding an instrument every episode, and it just, the amount of detail. And the crazy part is, like, not even just as a fan of TV and stuff, we know it's good. But as a Star Wars fan, it's mind blowing because you have so many fans that are pissed at Kathleen Kennedy or anybody. And the first thing they want to claim, they're not a Star Wars fan. They're not a Star Wars fan. That's why it's like this. And you have Tony Gilroy, the mastermind behind this, who said he's not a Star Wars fan and yet delivered the best Star Wars we've had. And I know the love for the original trilogy. I don't have that loyalty. I mean, yes, I watched it growing up. I saw it before the prequels and all that. And I think it's better than the prequels, but it was a product of its time. And yes, I respect what it did, but it didn't do nothing like this. It's just, you know, we have better writing, we have better effects, and we got better acting. So I don't think anything touches this. I really don't. And so, but my point is that's made by somebody who's not a Star Wars fan. And not only that, but not only that he did something that made it, you know, Star Wars, but it perfectly connects to the canon. Like, the writing is like a masterpiece, because this isn't, you know, Mayor Easttown or Secession or Severance or any of that. This is something you're going into a world that is not only built already, but it's gigantic. Like, I was thinking about it before I went to bed, and I was like, it's kind of like it's like an interior designer going into a 30-room mansion and finding one closet somewhere in the mansion that nobody's ever used, and then designing it and just working within that one little closet, making it your own and making it very well crafted, but it still fits with the rest of the mansion. That's kind of how I thought about this. Like, he went to a small corner of a giant universe that hasn't been explored, built out entire characters in the world while still adding to the larger story. It's amazing. And so, yes, all that's good. I can't say enough about that. But it does, I think, retroactively boost up a lot of other properties. I wasn't a huge fan of Rogue One, and that was mostly because of something else. Anyway, but I liked it, but I wasn't a huge fan like everybody else. But I know for a fact, going back and watching it, this is going to boost that up for me. Going back and watching any Star Wars, when you talk about the Empire, it's not just the bad guys. You really now have a visual to think back to of what the Empire actually does. Outside of Sith Lords and dark side of the Force, no, what is the Empire? What does the actual machine actually do to the galaxy? And so, to me, it's the same way the prequels boosted up the original trilogy, because now I understood how Vader got to that point and how the Emperor got to that point. Now, with this, you understand kind of what the Empire is doing, but how the rebellion got to that point. And so, all that, I think, is absolutely amazing. As far as this particular episode, I kind of touched on some different things, but I just like how they brought everybody together and kind of on their own thing. And you know what's funny to me, because I was thinking this last episode, you have all these people kind of converging in hopes of Andor, and that was before Andor was even free. And they had no clue this man was in jail and everything. So you have all these people traveling because they think Andor is going to be there. And they get there, and Andor is the last one to kind of know about it. And so it's not just, I don't know, it's not like this fate or anything like that that's forced. It's really just a happenstance of what's happening. Now, do I think Andor should have went back? No. I think it probably would have been stronger if he knew that Bix was locked up. Like, obviously, once he knew Bix was locked up, then that's when he really decided to kind of go in and risk his life. But I think that would have been a stronger motivation because his mom is his dad. What else is he supposed to do? Like, that they have occupied Ferrix. Even if you don't know to the extent, that they have really locked in on Ferrix. So why would you risk trying to go back there? But anyway, I'm fine with it. They did that, and then everybody else, it just it was a powder keg. I kept thinking about the Batman when they were like, the city's a powder keg and Riddler's the match. And you kind of felt that, but if you had that line in this show, it would have been accurate. It was just so much tension, and the way they connect everything, the anvil with the noise, and then going back to Marvel talking about the sound, and the way they ring all the little things whenever the Empire is there. Like, this whole town has this whole personality about it. And so the sound, and she said what you need to be scared of is when the sound stops. And when the sound stopped is obviously kind of when everything went off. But it was so good. I don't even know what else to say. The part with Cyril and what's her first name? Dedra. I feel like I hear it different ways. But Miro, man, that was great. She was just I thought she was gonna die. Cause I mean, obviously we know, still, as good as it is, we know what's gonna happen. All these people don't make a big dent going forward, but we will continue their story. But I thought you could have easily killed her. I mean, it would have been poetic for her to die in the mess she kind of created. And like, these people rebelled because of what you started. And so I thought she was going to die. But knowing Cyril was there, I thought he might see it and then get radicalized even more. But having him save her, I think, was a smart way too. Because now, obviously, that's going to be a different dynamic going into next season. But yeah, that was the stare down felt across the world, the Star Wars world, because man, the tension in that room when oh god, it was a little uncomfortable. I ain't gonna lie to you, but yeah, I don't know if it's anything else that's sticking out to me. All I could just really say is this is amazing. This Andor has been amazing. And it has successfully accomplished what Star Wars has sorely lacked. And I don't know if they tried with Obi-Wan and Boba Fett and Mandalorian, but this is what we were expecting them to do, is to give us something that was outside of the Skywalker line, outside of what we know from the original trilogy. And this did that. Somehow, this did that. It expanded so much of what we know about Star Wars, and it was so rich, it was so detailed, and it was so well executed. And yeah, man, this thing better win Emmys. This better win Emmys, or we riot. So anyway, go down in the comment section. Let me know what you think about Andor. Share it around, get the conversation started. Thumbs up, subscribe, and remember, if you heard it here, it's official canon.